So you meet a new actor on set, wherever, and they ask you, hey, can you give me a piece of advice? You know, as a new actor, what would you tell that person to help them get ahead?
I would say to be very perseverant, to get used to rejection. Don't take rejection personally, just keep at it. The best thing to have is perseverance above even talent, maybe, is if you just keep doing it, eventually somebody will say, hey, I want to hire that guy or girl. Hopefully.
Hopefully?
Yeah.
Hopefully. Well, in your case, you get hired a lot, so that's a good thing.
Well, I've been getting lucky lately. You know, I didn't get lucky until I was in my 40s. You know, I started getting work.
With film and TV.
With film and
lucky.
TV,
like
yeah.
Women that would earlier in life.
Well, that's a different story. You know, I
yes.
live with a swimsuit model.
Which is outstanding, by the way. Good for you.
That's my real life.
So, when you first jumped into acting, did you take a lot of classes and workshops and those types of things?
Yeah, I took a lot of classes at New York at TVI Actors Studio and American Comedy Institute. And the good thing about classes in New York is that they're often taught by people in the business, like casting directors and directors. So I actually booked some jobs from taking those classes.
Yeah, a lot of times, you know, you hear actors say, well, I don't want to pay to get in front of a casting director at these workshops.
Right.
Like at TVI or Actors Connection or Breakthrough Studios. But, you know, I found that it's very beneficial. You're saying the same thing, essentially.
Yeah, it was beneficial to me. I got cast on a soap opera and on Saturday Night Live from two casting directors I met doing classes in New York, yeah.
What was the soap opera that you worked on?
All My Children.
All My Children.
Yeah.
And soap opera acting gets a bad rap sometimes. They say, you know, it's kind of, you know, melodramatic and it's not very good. But what would you say to an actor who doesn't know much about soap acting? What would you tell them?
I'd say it's a great way to get your foot in the door, and I think that stigma isn't as prevalent as it used to be. Mm-hmm. And the directing style has even changed over the years. If you notice, they're going for more realism and a lot more location shooting. And it's just a great way to get your foot in the door if you're lucky enough. You know, it's just as competitive as any other type of film or television nowadays, you know, soap opera acting. So I would say, you know, don't turn anything down. Mm-hmm. You know, it's certainly a great experience and great for your reel and meet a lot of cool people.
Now, acting is just not, if you're a professional actor, it's just not about getting up there on stage or on camera. It's about running a career, running a business.
Right.
So if you had to give someone a business tip as to, you know, what would you tell an actor business-wise to help them along their way?
Yeah, that's the hardest part, I think, of acting for anybody or somebody like me, is the business aspect, because you're essentially a salesman and your product is you and you're always selling yourself. So that's the hardest part for me, is always selling myself, looking for the next job, you know, auditioning for the next job, just pounding the pavements and searching the internet for work. I'd say that's the biggest part of the business aspect, is actually trying to find the work. Ultimately, you want to get an agent that falls in love with you and will represent you and call you, so you don't have to do all this legwork. But that's another kettle of fish, you know. Getting the agent is,
sure.
You got to do a lot of pavement pounding with that too, because they're so inundated with so many. The business is so competitive. Mm-hmm. That you have to keep selling yourself. And you have to do it in a way that isn't obnoxious. You know, you don't want to turn these people off. It's kind of a fine line. You have to find that line where you're selling yourself but not being obnoxious, so that they will just slam the door on you, you know, because
I've heard stories of, you know, actors who just go and they just walk right in, and, you know, and it is a fine line, because one or two things can happen. You know, they're either going to take it and say, hey, thank you, and take a look at it, or they're just going to say, why did that asshole come and knock on my door?
Right.
You know, so you got, and then just throw your headshot at it.
Yeah, put you on the blacklist. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it happens that way. You got it is a fine line.
Yeah.
But as far as like sending out headshots and postcards and stuff like that, do you have a routine for that or a pattern for that?
Yeah,
or?
I would say the thing an actor needs are a demo reel, headshots, and a website. Those are the three main tools, I would say.
Sure.
And it seems like the demo reel is becoming increasingly important, especially now with the video. It's so easy to stream on websites.
Yeah, and you can just send a link.
Right, and sending a link instead of, sending a DVD in the mail.